I never meant to stare. In fact, the last thing I wanted was to offend a 7-foot-tall warrior woman from a species known across 3 sectors for their terrifying battlefield prowess. But the universe has a way of putting you in situations where your brain forgets how to function. And this moment was one of them. My name is Eli Grant, human engineer, quiet guy, not a soldier or anything heroic. I fixed machines, not fought wars. I'd been temporarily assigned to the Alliance Forward Camp on Velcara, a volcanic world shared by humans and the Zerani warrior clans. The Zerani were intimidating. Powerful, horned, eyes that shimmered like molten metal, and armor that looked like it had been carved from obsidian and starlight. Which brings me to her. Soraka Vel, the kind of warrior whose name was spoken carefully even by those who wore medals. She was a commander, a champion, practically legendary. And for reasons unknown to any sane person, I was assigned to repair her armor's energy regulator. I had expected to meet a grim, battle-hardened veteran. Instead, I met a woman whose presence made the air feel too thin. And I stared. Not because of fear, though fear would have been normal, but because she was beautiful in a way that didn't make sense. Not delicate beauty, not gentle beauty, but a beauty shaped by strength, confidence, and the unmistakable aura of someone who knew exactly what she was capable of. I was staring, and she saw it. Course she did. Zerani warriors sensed everything. She tilted her head, strands of silver-black hair brushing her armored shoulder as she turned toward me. Her eyes caught the light, 2 molten gold irises swirling with faint bioluminescence. And then it happened. She smiled. A slow, knowing, devastating smile that made my stomach drop straight through the floor. So, she said, voice smooth as heated metal, you humans speak with your faces. And yours is speaking very loudly. My soul nearly left my body. Beginning. The expression I didn't mean to make. I snapped out of the daze like I'd been slapped by a solar flare. I didn't. Her eyebrow lifted. Zerani eyebrows were sharper than most swords. I see, she murmured. Your face is speaking again. I shut my mouth. The other soldiers in the repair bay tried not to gawk. Some smirked. Others whispered bets about whether I'd survive the next 5 minutes. Soraka stepped toward me. 1 step. 3. She stopped close enough that I felt the heat radiating from her armor. Zerani suits contained internal geothermal systems, meaning they were always warm, like standing near a forge. I am told, she said, that humans avoid staring at warriors of my rank. Yes, I croaked. That's true. But you did not avoid it. That was unintentional. Her smile widened by a fraction. And, she continued, you were not afraid. I swallowed. No. Interesting. My heart thudded so loudly I wondered if Zerani hearing could detect it. Then she handed me her armor. It weighed as much as a starship engine block. I almost dropped it, but somehow managed to avoid humiliating myself. Fix it, she said. And continue whatever thoughts your expression was having. I found them entertaining. I nearly died on the spot. The middle, the repair, the spark, and the truth. Working on her armor was supposed to take 15 minutes. Took 2 hours. Not because I was incompetent, though nervousness didn't help, but because every time she looked at me, my brain malfunctioned. And Soraka looked at me a lot. She watched me like she was studying a new species. Maybe she was. Zerani and humans had only formed an alliance 3 years earlier. Cultural differences were enormous. At one point, Soraka crouched beside me, her massive frame lowering easily, her presence enveloping the space around us. You handle machines gently, she observed. I try, I said, adjusting the plasma coil. Helps them work better. You handle my armor gently as well. It's delicate. It is not. I winced internally. Right. Sorry. It is acceptable, she added. That was high praise from her species. She continued studying me until I finally asked, "Is something wrong?" "No. I simply find you perplexing. Most people do. Most humans," she corrected, "fear us. Or pretend not to." Her next words were softer. "You stare, not in fear." I could not understand it. I set the component down. "And now?" I asked quietly. Her golden eyes met mine. "Now," she said, "I understand." My pulse spiked. But before I could ask what she meant, the repair bay alarms blared. Battle alert. Enemy drones inbound. All defensive units to position. Soraka stood in one motion. The Vorkeri. They strike early. She grabbed her armor and paused, looking at me. "You will stay inside the base," she ordered. "Do not engage." I wasn't planning to. She nodded in satisfaction and marched out, every step ringing with authority. But the battle didn't stay outside for long. The Vorkeri drones broke through a weak point in the perimeter wall. Explosions shook the ground. Engineers scrambled for cover. I grabbed the nearest energy rifle even though I hated guns. Just as I aimed at a drone forcing its way in, a shadow fell over me. "Soraka." She slammed her hand over the rifle's barrel, pushing it down effortlessly. "I told you not to engage," she growled. "You said stay inside." "I'm inside." Her expression twitched. "You argue in the middle of battle. Bad habit." With an exasperated rumble, she stepped forward, interposing herself between me and the advancing drones. She moved like living lightning, a blur of black-silver armor, golden eyes gleaming with predatory focus. She tore through the drones, ripping one apart with her bare hands. The battle was overwhelming and mesmerizing. When it ended, debris littered the bay. I was still trying to process everything when Soraka turned toward me. Her armor was scorched. Smoke drifted off her shoulder plates. Her breathing was heavy. But her gaze was intense. "You risked yourself," she said. "I wasn't trying to. You acted without fear." Again. She stepped closer. Too close. "You truly do not fear me. Do you, Eli Grant?" I shook my head. "No, I don't." Something shifted in her expression. Something soft. Something dangerous. Something she had been holding back until now. "Good," she whispered. The moment. The smile that said everything. Later, when the base stabilized, she returned to the repair bay. I was alone, cleaning fragments of drone plating off the floor. When she entered, I straightened instinctively. "You did not flee," she said. "Didn't think about it. You thought about me." Froze. She was standing close again. Too close. And her eyes, glowing softly, were locked onto mine. "That look," she murmured. "The one you tried to hide when you first saw me." "I wasn't. You were." Her voice was quiet, but it filled the room. "And now you are wearing it again." I felt heat rise to my face. She chuckled low and warm. "It is an expression of admiration. Attraction." She leaned in, breath brushing my ear. "Humans are easy to read." "I guess so." She drew back slightly. "But you are not easy," she said. "Not like others. Not like those who tremble or bow." She reached up and touched my chin with one armored fingertip, lifting it. "You look at me as though I am not a monster. You aren't. Many believe otherwise. Then they're wrong." Her eyes softened, and that smile returned. Lo,